Philadelphia, Pitsy, that's the residency. Philadelphia, Pitsy, that's the residency. Philadelphia, Pitsy, that's the residency. Philadelphia, Pitsy, that's the residency.
Alright, so basically what we're going to talk about right now is how to record vinyl into Cerrado, and the basic two formats that it records in is either WAV or AIF, depending on if you're using PC or Mac. But it will not convert to MP3 or anything else for you. It just records as 16-bit, 44 1K, WAV or AIF, and it's respectively, if you're using PC, it records WAV, Mac, it's AIF. So this little section of the screen here on Cerrado is where you choose which of the three inputs you can record. You can record a mic as long as you have one connected. You can record input 1, which is the left turntable, or input 2, which is the right. And it works the same way for both turntables. And as long as you have the right input selected, that's what Cerrado will record. So if you have a normal record on that has music cut on it, then make sure you're on input 2. If you're on the right turntable, that's what we're going to be using right now. And also, when you have everything connected correctly, as long as you flip your mixer input to phono, you'll hear what's on that record and you'll see what it's recording. But keep in mind that since the turntable connects to the interface box first, anything that happens to the music on your mixer, whether you change the EQ setting or turn the fader up and down or anything, that doesn't affect what's going into the computer, because the turntable goes to the interface box and then right to the computer. It doesn't ever reach the mixer. You're hearing it after the fact. So even if, let's say for example right now, okay, the computer is seeing that. If I turn the volume down, the computer is still hearing and seeing the signal. But we're not, because we're monitoring after it reaches the computer. So keep in mind that the EQ setting, the gain setting on your mixer, none of that matters. What you can change about the signal going into the computer is actually on the screen for Cerrado, okay? So if I have this record playing here now, I have a control knob right here, okay? This default setting is at 12 o'clock, but I can turn it down or turn it up depending on how I want to change the input signal coming into Cerrado. Okay, so as soon as I let this play, alright, if I turn it down, if you can pan over to this meter right here, this is the meter for input number 2 when you're recording. You can see that it's pretty much just hitting green. The red up here is flashing, but don't pay attention to that. That must be some sort of bug or glitch. But it's obviously not peaking that much. If I come back over here and change this input volume setting and turn it up, then when we come back to the input number 2 meter, you can see that the signal got significantly louder. Okay, and as long as it's pushing pretty well into the yellow, that's a good volume for you to record to. All right, so if we can bring it back to the beginning. Okay, you find the beginning, all right, and how you start recording on a Mac anyway, as far as I know. I'm not exactly sure what the command keys would be on a PC, but you hit Control N, and then it will start this clock running. Can you see that clock? Right here. This clock right here. These digits. Okay. So once you hit Control N, like this, you'll see that clock start to run, and then this box gets outlined in red. To stop it, Control N again, and then it stops it, okay? So what we're going to do now is hit Control N, and it'll restart. Every time you start it, it starts over from 0, okay? So if I hit Control N now, it stops at 6 seconds, and since I'm not saving any information, it's not going to save anything. So I hit Control N again to start it, and it starts back from 0, and then I can let the song play, okay? If I don't like how that started, I can hit Control N. Find it again, and then start over. Okay? Now, just for argument's sake, let's pretend that we let the whole song play into the computer, okay? Let's say that's the end of the song. Imagine it faded out or whatever you want to imagine. After it's all said and done, you can hit Control N to stop the recording. And then in order to save the song, this is very important, in order to save the song, you have to name it. And in this case, the song is called Sun Shines Through. And hit enter. You must do that or else it will not save that song. And it creates a folder called recorded, which I have to go and find. I don't know where, oh, there it is. And what we see is the song that we just recorded in. And I have the bit rate column up, so it shows me that it's 1411.2 K, which is, you know, pretty much standard bit rate for WAV or AIF. It's not 320 or 192 or 128, but the actual AIF WAV bit rate. And what you can do with this later on is go into your computer and find it in your Serato Scratch Live folder and take it from that folder and put it anywhere you want to, into your iTunes, so you can convert it from WAV to MP3, so on and so forth. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. Now that we've recorded the song in, it puts it permanently into that folder called recorded, okay, which you can find down here. It'll put it somewhere in this playlist. The folder, the crate is called recorded, and then the songs from that recorded crate are in a folder in your music file on your home drive. Okay, so we can go on a Mac, you can go to desktop, shift Apple A to bring up your applications window, but then from there you can navigate anywhere. And let's look at, let's go to my home drive section and then go to music. Okay, and then we have iTunes, then we have Scratch Live. Okay, so let's go to Scratch Live, and then there's two recording folders. There's a recording temporary and then permanent recording. The temporary folder is just where all the songs that you're recording before you turn off Scratch Live or close the program, that's where they go. If you don't name them, it doesn't ever take it out of that temporary folder and put it into the permanent one. Not exactly sure why it does it that way, but that's just how it works. So before you close Cerrado, make sure you've named and hit enter for all the tracks that you recorded, or else once you once you close Cerrado, it won't remember the songs you recorded in, okay? So since I named it and hit enter, it took it out of the temporary folder and put it in the permanent one. Sun Shines Through AIF, okay? That's where it is. And I could take this and just drag it into my iTunes or whatever. And I could use iTunes to convert it from AIF to MP3. And that's how you do it. So once you've got your song recorded in and you're sure that it's in the permanent folder, take it from your permanent folder, take it wherever you want to go, into iTunes to convert it, or just keep it, you know, for safekeeping, whatever. Once you know that you have a copy of it somewhere else, then you can go ahead and empty this permanent recording folder, and that will help save space on your home drive, because it doesn't place those recorded files anywhere else. It puts it on your home drive. Okay, so you can take this, drag it to the trash, you know, or however it is in PC. I don't remember exactly how you get rid of it, but and then empty the trash, and then you clear that space that the track or tracks were taking up on your home drive. And hopefully before you empty the trash and throw those songs out, you know that you have copies of that song you recorded in somewhere else. All right, so that's basically how you do it. Just to recap, as long as you have your turntables plugged into your input box on this side of the screen, you have 3 input choices: mic, input 1, or input 2 to record. And as long as everything is running right, when you hit play, you should see the meters running, as long as you have the right input selected. If I select input 1, you can still hear the music, but you're not recording anything because you didn't tell it to look at input 2. So I'm going to go back to input 2, and as long as the meter is up, I can adjust the input gain knob here to get the optimum recording level. You don't want to be too loud, you don't want to be too low. You want to be just right. If it's too loud, that means it doesn't even blink. It's just staying green, yellow, and red, just staying there the whole time. So that looks pretty good, and I'm ready to record. And remember, whatever happens to the mixer doesn't matter to what's recording into the computer because it's after the fact. The turntable plugs into the interface box first, and from there, it goes right to the computer. It doesn't go to the mixer and then the computer. The mixer is just monitoring after all that happens. So the only thing you can really control is the input gain volume going into the computer. The downside to that is you can't control the sonic values like the bass and mids and treble. You can't control that going in unless you plug the turntable into something before you plug it into the Cerrado box. But that gets a little more complicated and all that. You can always adjust something you record in later through wave editing programs like Pro Tools or Cool Edit Pro or Acid or any one of those programs, Digital Performer, Logic. You can use all those programs, even Peak. You can kind of fix and alter the sonic quality of the MP3 file. So, in a nutshell, yeah, that's how you record into your computer using Serato.